Hello. Welcome to the Edge's Facebook page's #1 show at this particular time. 3 to 5 things we didn't have time to talk about today. I'm your host, Brett Kennedy. I'm eating some broccoli. It's good. I got some broccoli stuck in my teeth. Anyways, I would like to thank this week's sponsor of 3 to 5 things we didn't have time to talk about today, Corey's Clothiers, 569 Danforth Avenue. Sean Corman, my good friend who runs the store, hurt his back, and he's all laid up, and he's not having a good time. So let's all give a big thumbs up and hope you get better soon to my good friend, Sean Corman, who's probably yelling about something that's making him mad on television because he hates daytime TV. Now he has to watch it. Poor guy. Rough go. I'd recommend Stranger Things, Sean, if you're watching, because I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things. I just got on the bandwagon, and let me tell you, that shows a whole lot of something. I know I got broccoli stuck in between my teeth. I'm sorry. This is going to drive me crazy for the next 20 friggin' minutes. Anyways, let's get into things. #1, this guy right here. His name is Shawn Spencer, and he's a big old wiener. This is the thing. Shawn Spencer was not part of Donald Trump's crew. He was not part of his posse. He's just a guy that worked for the Republican Party. And when Donald Trump came in, he got thrown up on the docket as the press secretary. He was the guy that went out there and said things. Now, I learned about something because I was staying, last week I was on vacation. I was in Nova Scotia, and I was staying at my cousin's house, and her boyfriend worked for the Liberal Party. And talking politics with them was amazing because they understand the way the whole political system works, and they have like an analysis process of it where they almost treat it like professional sports, is the way they treat it like. So talking with them was really interesting. And we were there when Shawn Spencer resigned, and he was saying how easy it would be for Shawn Spencer to have taken that scenario and become like one of those guys that were like, wow, I have a sympathetic viewpoint for him. Because he was a guy that was thrown into a role that nobody wanted. Like, to be Donald Trump's press secretary is like the worst gig ever. Because he's not reading things that he's written. He's basically given a piece of paper and says, these are the things you will say are the truth. You will go up there and you will say them regardless of how you feel. So then he quits. And you're thinking, So, I got it out. I had the piece of broccoli out that was stuck between my teeth. Good for me. So he goes out, says I quit. What does he do? He goes on Fox News and he complains because of Melissa McCarthy's impression of him on Saturday Night Live. You schmuck. You idiot. Here's the thing. You have, from a strategic point of view, okay? He quits his job. He can go on and he can say, listen, man, I didn't want to take this job. It was thrust upon me. And the Melissa McCarthy thing comes up. He can just go, I thought it was really funny because I really did feel like I was being made to look like an idiot. I just want to make that clear. That's not what I wanted to do. He could have written a great book. You know, look at that, reading a book to a kid he probably doesn't know that's sitting there for a photo opportunity. He could have written a wonderful book about, like, the Shawn Spencer book. I lied about stuff because I was paid to. Sean, I get it. I get it. We've all got a line we got to toe. We've all got jobs we got to do. We've all got bills we got to pay. There's things we don't like about our jobs, things that we have to do. Not all of us are put in a position where we can pick and choose where we want to be and what we want to do. That's a situation we can all relate to. Imagine this. Shawn Spencer quits, goes on TV, and immediately schedules like a tour, like a media tour. And the whole time he runs the story and he just says, flat out, I didn't want the job. I had to do it for as long as I could until I could secure something else to support my family and feed my kids. And as soon as I was in a position where I could do that, I left the job, and I'm glad I did. I want no part of that administration. Everyone would love him. And then he writes a tell-all book talking about how insane it was working for the Trump administration, opens up the windows. We all get to see how ridiculous his life was for those few months. We'd actually maybe feel a little bit guilty for all the crap and stuff that we slung at him. He could have taken a sympathetic role. But no, he starts going on, immediately acting like a baby because Melissa McCarthy made fun of him on TV. I would love for Melissa McCarthy to make fun of me on TV. She doesn't. She doesn't. And it's not even like she made fun of him in a one-off sketch. She made fun of him in a sketch that became infamous. Shawn Spencer was riding Melissa McCarthy's coattails, man. Could you, like, imagine if, like, he appeared on Saturday Night Live while she was doing an impression of him? That'd be amazing. That'd be so great. So many things he could do. But then again, I'm really not shocked by somebody in the Trump administration having terrible, terrible strategic points of view. But regardless, Shawn Spencer, you could have done something great, but instead, you screwed it all up, and now you just look like a big baby whining because somebody made fun of you. You get paid more money than all of us. People are allowed to make fun of you. Comes with the turf. Moving on. You want to date somebody that looks like a celebrity? Now you can, thanks to Voodoo. That's right. Badu. Sorry, not Voodoo. Badu. Badu. Badu is a website, like a dating site, that allows you to find people that look like the celebrities you find attractive. Not going to lie. Go back. Sorry, back. There we go. Not going to lie. Judge me if you want. I have a thing for Kim Kardashian. I do. I find Kim Kardashian to be very attractive. And you can judge me if you want. We like who we like. We love who we love. You can't help who you fall in love with, okay? I'm not saying I fell in love with Kim Kardashian, although that might be a Freudian slip, and a psychologist out there might say I just admitted to. But I've never even met her. I don't know what she's like. I just feel that her body possesses the physical attributes that instinctively my brain says I need to attain in order to have children that have a good chance of survival. It's instinct. There's a desire there. I'm not saying I would sexually harass her. I'm just saying I find her attractive, and there's nothing wrong about that because I wouldn't be creepy about it. She's just a very attractive woman. And I have also dated a woman who looked like a celebrity that I also found attractive. I dated a girl who looked just like Elizabeth Shue for a long time. And she was crazy, and she was mean, and she constantly said things were when everybody says something's inappropriate, I immediately think of this ex-girlfriend. This is just very inappropriate. It's inappropriate for you to say that, okay? It's inappropriate. Ugh. And I put up with so much crap from her because she looked like Elizabeth Shue. I'm not even lying. That was the biggest selling feature. Like, you know when you go to a car lot, there's a car that's not very good, but the guy's like, oh, buddy, but the warranty's great. Like, it's got one feature. She had one feature. She looked like Elizabeth Shue. That was it. And is that wrong? Does that make me creepy? No. Does it make me shallow? Probably. But I was 22 at the time. I was a 22-year-old male. Brain's not thinking. I'm fueled by McDonald's cheeseburgers from the late night drive-thru and erections. Like, that's how I get by. That's my day-to-day functioning period. She looked like Elizabeth Shue. So I stuck with her. And I know girls that have dated guys because they look like their favorite celebrity. You're not weird. So if you want to date someone who looks like Kim Kardashian, but unfortunately does not have her many, many millions upon millions of dollars, shucks, you can go to Badu and find them. All right, let's move on to common sense. Just warning you, it's going to be getting a little bit controversial. There's been a beer that has been released for women. That's right. A Czech beer company has released a beer that has been specifically crafted for women, and they go on in their big press release about how never before have women been able to drink beer. And guess what? Triggered! People are mad about it. Can you believe it? Obviously I can believe it. You don't ever say things about women online. You just don't do it. TJ Miller goes on the internet. Women aren't as funny as men because women are taught to repress their feelings from a young age and blah, blah. TJ, I get where you're going and you're trying to be funny, but you don't do it. You don't do it. You just don't do it. These guys have pissed off the entire female beer drinking community. There's like a women's beer drinking society right here in Toronto. They were at the Sessions big thing down at Yonge and Dundas Square a few weeks ago. They're going to be at the Toronto Festival of Beer as well on the weekend. Women like beer, man. Women like beer. Dudes like beer. We all like beer. Making a beer for women is dumb because you're going to follow all the cliche things. You're going to give it a really nice... By the way, that picture of the beer bottles before wasn't the actual beer bottle. It's like it looks like kind of like a champagne bottle. It's like gray, like marbly. And guess what is the predominant color in the packaging? Did somebody say pink? Yes, somebody did. Pink is the predominant color being used in the packaging. And of course they surround it with flowers and all that stuff. And it pissed everybody off. Do you remember like a few years ago that one car company released the perfect car for women? Do you remember that? And they tailor crafted it with like special little console things to put your makeup and all that stuff in. I'm not lying. This really happened. And when they released it and women got pissed about it, they were like, oh my God, how did this happen? It's like you have like a big group of incredibly dumb and out of touch rich business people that are just stamping approval on dumb idea after dumb idea, not even thinking twice. Which brings me to another dumb thing that people are mad about that I'm shocked nobody expected people to get mad about. A new show, HBO, from the showrunners from Game of Thrones, are going to do a show all about the Confederacy. Honestly, I'm kind of just annoyed about the rebel flag being there. We'll just go back to Dumb Business Guy. He's a lot more wholesome than... Are we back to Dumb Business Guy? Okay, good. We're back to Dumb Business Guy. So there's a new show from the front runners from Game of Thrones called Confederacy that was announced over Comic-Con. All that we know about this show, Confederacy, is like an alternate reality where the Confederates won the Civil War and black people are still slaves. And immediately, people went ballistic on social media. Of course they did! Did they not learn anything from TJ Miller or the Car for Women or the Beer for Women people? What do you expect in this current social climate? Now, is the anger about this show justified? Well, there's a definite argument for it. I mean, you're talking about a show that's dealing with slavery that's being fronted by a whole bunch of white dudes that are the same people that created a big scandal involving continuous use of sexual assault on their other show. So there's an understandable amount of rage. However, the other argument is we don't even know what the show is about yet. We have no concept about what Confederacy is about at all. We have no idea what it's about. And the parallel that I was using when I was talking about this with my wife was that there's a show called The Man from High Castle, which is on Amazon, which is a show about the Nazis winning the Second World War and the United States now being like split between Japan and Nazi Germany. Now, I don't know if you know much about the Nazis, but they didn't just hate black people. They hated everyone. They committed genocide, straight up genocide, like 50 years ago. And when the show Man from High Castle got announced, were people like flipping out? Were they getting mad? Not to the same level I've seen with Confederacy. And the reason they weren't is because that they know the show focused on the flaws of the Nazi ideology and the people working from the underground to bring it down from the inside. Great story from Philip K. Dick, by the way, who is like the godfather of science fiction, wrote Blade Runner, you name it. The guy's got his hands all over everything. iRobot. Oh, amazing guy. So, what is this show Confederacy about? We don't know. So people are getting mad about a show that they don't understand. It could be a show that's really just a parallel for the idiocy and racism that exists in present-day society. We don't know. Except it'll be a lot more overt and it'll kind of like tear back the layers. But once again, and I want to make this perfectly clear, we have no idea what the show is about. But are they shocked that people are mad about it? Probably, because we're dealing with a bunch of dumb rich businessmen that are completely out of touch. Well, I talked about this with my friends at the yacht club, and none of them thought it was offensive. Let's drink some Dom and have a good day. I'm assuming they all play polo, too, and neglect their wives and sleep with their secretaries. Moving on. Let's talk about this guy. This dude is from Alberta. He's 67 years old. Why are we talking about him? Because he fist fought a bear, man. He got in a fist fight with a legitimate bear. Walking his dog, bear comes along, boom. What does he do? He bops the bear in the face. That's what he does. And let's take a good look at him. Where's the cuts on his face? See any cuts on his face? Nope. I see a lot of UFC fighters that have taken a lot worse damage to their face when they were fighting human beings. And I'm just going to tell you that is a lot meaner than a bear. Look at this. Flying. Did you make this on Photoshop? Or did you actually find a photo of flying bears with laser beam eyes?
I found it. I wish I made it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to compliment Alex on doing a great job with Photoshop. I was just saying that the only way the story could get more intense would be if the bears were flying and shooting laser beams. But evidently somebody's already had that genius idea. Also, look at that. Do you remember that episode of Game of Thrones? We're going back to Game of Thrones, though. This is a great one. Brienne of Tarth, when she fought the bear. I know that if I was in a group and there was a bear coming at us, I wouldn't fight the bear. I would trip the most portly member of our group and run furiously away. That's what I would do, because I have strong runaway instincts. And my instincts tell me that unless I've got a sword, I am not going to fight the bear. So kudos to the old man for bopping the bear right in the nose. That's the type of person that we need more of in society. People that are so brave, they're stupid. Moving on to stupid, let's talk about America. I don't know if you're aware about this, but not almost a quarter of Americans, more than a quarter of Americans believe that the sun revolves around the earth. The sun, the big ball of fire that floats around in the sky. They actually think that the sun revolves around the earth. You could fit over 1 million Earths inside of the sun. No, it's the exact opposite. That's not how physics work, okay? I learned about physics and inertia in the solar system. I learned about it in school. I really believe that the Americans have created a vast conspiracy over the last few decades to more and more and more underfund their schools by putting more money into things like sports, less money into things like the arts, and into science, and into education. And you know why? Because it's easy to keep dumb people in line and get them to do what you want them to do. An intelligent, well-read population is a bunch of rabble-rousers. And that's the thing, I often get uppity about the left and the right on this show because I find both the far left and the far right equally stupid and annoying. But I will say this. I absolutely love people getting uppity and irritating and annoying because it's a sign that they care about things. And it's a sign that they're educated enough to care about things. So as bad and as frustrated as I get, I'd much rather have that than the alternative, a society that's so stupid that they're willing to vote for somebody that has absolutely zero experience and has run a repeated string of bankrupt businesses and make them the most powerful human being in the free world. Got the best plans. I got the best plans. The best plans. Ugh, this guy, what a schmo. You can tell that there's problems with their education system down south if they also think that Donald Trump makes a good president and that the sun revolves around the earth. And we don't live in the States. We live in Canada. Why do you care? Because there's 10 times as many of them as there are us. There's more Americans that think the sun revolves around the earth than there are people in Canada. Think about that. By the way, this weekend at Echo Beach, Dropkick Murphys, who are one of the greatest bands of all time, I'm going to probably cry when they play Rocky Road to Dublin. They're going to be on stage at Echo Beach, and they're going to be playing with Rancid. And I would love to see Rancid do Axiom live, because as far as I'm concerned, it's got one of the greatest bass solos in the history of mankind. So if you want to go to that show and watch me cry like a blubbering 10-year-old girl who just found out that the Justin Bieber tour got canceled,